in Marysville, Ohio. Variety was offered a big contract from Honda, with one catch. They would share the project with a Japanese partner, Kikuchi.
We were awarded the programs, and we had quoted the tools, but we weren't given the opportunity of building the tools. The statement was that they just didn't feel that American suppliers would be capable of delivering the tools on a timely basis. So the tooling was awarded to Kikuchi, my partner from Japan.
So you bought the tools from your partner?
That's correct.
I truly believe that we were being set up, that there was no intention ever to make Al their partner, and that there was no intention of having a long-term relationship with Variety.
Jim Gale supervised the Honda contract at Variety. He says the tools supplied by Kikuchi were defective. The result? Production delays and bad parts. Gale believes Kikuchi had good reason not to try.
Kikuchi actually could be construed as a competitor of ours. In Japan, we're making the same parts that we were making here. When I found out that we were also paying them a royalty for technical assistance, I was really stunned. Absolutely couldn't believe it.
Kikuchi was not just any competitor, but part of Honda's corporate family, or Keiretsu. Like other Japanese industrial giants, Honda is actually a complex web of companies that hold shares in one another. Like cartels, Keiretsu set prices and control profits to ensure the health of their members. Buying from a Keiretsu partner ultimately means lower cost, since Honda gets to share in Kikuchi's profits.
I think that it is expected that variety stamping would fail under these circumstances. That is, the kinds of incentives, the kinds of institutional requirements that variety stamping faces compared with the Japanese requirements means that they are going to fail.
When the tools supplied by Kikuchi broke down, engineers were sent from Japan to repair them. They did not speak English. Production slowed and costs soared.
Our partners supplied us the weld systems, which did not make acceptable welds. We had components supplied to us by Japan that, when put together, did not create an acceptable product.
Even when Honda inspectors approved parts at Variety, other inspectors would often reject them when they arrived in Marysville. In a matter of months, Variety stamping collapsed.
I think that they wanted their own company producing these parts. I think they wanted to go through the motions of saying that, yes, we tried an American supplier, and they could not give us the quality that we needed.
So they were building a case against Variety?
I believe that's exactly what they were doing.
Frontline repeatedly offered Honda an opportunity to respond. Honda refused. There is growing evidence Honda's claim that its cars produced in Ohio are American-made is not true. All of the most expensive or value-added parts are imported from Japan. In fact, when the Customs Department inspected a Marysville Honda engine, it found only 1% of the parts were made by American suppliers.
The more value-added parts would come from Japan. We would, at that point, be the assemblers. We would take the low-end, no-brainer part of it, if you will, and do that.
Just piece the parts together?
Piece the parts together, sell our labor.
And that became an American part?
And that then is, to Honda, an American part, sure.
Auto parts are now the fastest-growing Japanese import. Critics charge Honda and other Japanese transplants have made only token efforts to use American suppliers. Al Pace says Honda never intended to make Variety a supplier, and this building proves it. A $60 million stamping plant for Kikuchi just outside Marysville. It was planned before Variety won the Honda contract. Al Pace learned the news from a trade magazine.
A $60 million facility. Finding out from the back page of Automotive News rather than your partner does lead you to suspect that perhaps the relationship wasn't as open and above board as it could have been.
Al took it upon himself to try and fix everything and try and make it right for his partner, Honda.
Al Pace took them on their word?
Al Pace took them on their word.
And what happened?
Al Pace is out of business today.
American auto parts makers are going out of business at a rate of 1 every 16 hours. One reason, say critics, is that Japanese automakers practice predatory capitalism. The objective is not just to win, but to drive your competition out of business.
We have not found one company yet, one Fortune 500 company, that wasn't under attack in some shape or form.
By the Japanese?
By the Japanese.
Michael Sikora was once a senior analyst at the Pentagon. He was the head of Project Socrates, a classified program in the Defense Intelligence Agency. The objective of Project Socrates was to identify and protect technologies critical to national security. Sikora's research revealed that the Japanese practice capitalism with military discipline.
If you look at some of the strategies, the way they're written up by the Japanese, they don't talk about we're going to go over and get a bigger market. They talk about frontal attacks, flanking attacks. They talk about totally envelopment strategies, which means you take the customer and you totally surround him with interlocking technologies, such that whatever direction he turns, he's got to use one of their technologies in order to satisfy his needs.
Sounds like war almost.
It is war.
Project Socrates was designed to ensure that America's most advanced weapon systems did not depend on foreign-made components. But when the Bush administration took office, Project Socrates was shut down. The president's advisors dismissed it as industrial policy, a violation of free market ideology.
Did anyone from the administration ask you why your program was important?
No, we had no discussions with the administration.
So why was it ended without discussion?
I don't know.
Advanced electronics helped win the Gulf War, everything from navigation systems to smart bombs. But it was not just American technology. Many of the most critical components were made in Japan. If Washington does not have an industrial policy, Findlay, Ohio does. In Japan, it's known as Friendly Findlay.
Mr. Suzuki, how are you, my friend?
Even the word Ohio means good morning in Japanese, and the state is working hard to live up to its name. Ohio and other industrial states are actively courting Japanese investment, and the Japanese companies prefer rural towns like Findlay, predominantly white communities without unions. GSW Manufacturing came to Findlay from Japan 2 years ago. The company assembles electrical wiring for automobiles. GSW is a subsidiary of Shinsei Harness Company, a Toyota supplier. The factory is in a foreign trade zone set up by the state, so parts and materials can be imported duty-free. To Findlay's Mayor Keith Romick, the arrival of the Japanese is good news.
And the positive attitude you have towards the city of Findlay. I think it's great. I think you're great salespeople for the city.
But leaving industrial policy to the mayor of towns like Findlay has been bad news for the American auto industry nationwide.
The Japanese automotive industry trumpets the fact that they have created 98,000 new jobs at transplant facilities and related facilities in the United States. It's marvelous. The only difficulty is, in the same period of time, the American auto industry lost 500,000 jobs. So there has been no net gain in automotive employment. There has been a 400,000 job decline in that industry.
My name is Larry Crosby. I worked at Dana Corporation for 28 years.
City Auto Stamping for 3 years.
Dewar Corporation for 7 years.
Champion Spark Plug for 20 and a half years.
Dura Corporation, 8 years.
For every auto worker who gets laid off, 2 auto parts workers lose their jobs.
For Dura for 7.5 years.
Job prospects are poor for these auto parts workers in Toledo, Ohio. Their traditional customers, the big 3, are cutting back. And there's little chance they'll get jobs with the Japanese transplants. 7 Japanese automakers built plants in the Midwest. They were quickly followed by their Japanese suppliers. 6 years ago, there were only